Hello and welcome to the ChrisInformation podcast. I'm Chris Chell, former congressional press assistant to Congressman Matt Gaetz, social media coordinator at The Daily Caller, freelance entertainment news writer, and patriotic American. So, a lot has happened in the past week. CNN's Dana Bash admitted what we all knew to be true. DEMS are targeting men with low testosterone. Former President Trump received two major endorsements, securing the support of Robert Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. And of course, we had the disastrous demonstration of pompous billionaires and people who hate pompous billionaires espousing their most favored, worn-out acronyms of the liberal dogma at the Democratic National Convention. Cue applause for DEI, CRT, LGBTQ, IAPP, hashtag, exclamation point, $, ampersand, star. Some of the headliners included the Obamas, the man accused of sexual assault, credibly accused of sexual assault, Bill Clinton, and his lovely wife, the woman responsible for Benghazi and a slew of other government disasters, including what many would call treason, as she worked to create a fake Russian dossier on Donald Trump. And we can't forget our senile commander-in-chief, who proved himself capable of delivering a speech past the time when they served the senior special at Golden Corral. And what did he focus on? Not America, not the middle class, no, but instead claiming the radical pro-Hamas protesters rioting in the streets have a point.
Those protesters out in the street, they have a point. A lot of innocent people are being killed on both sides. Let me know in my heart, when my days are through, America, America, I gave my best to you.
Well, your best wasn't nearly good enough. And last, but certainly not least, unless we're talking in terms of IQ, was the Democrats' pick for a head-to-head with Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. Kamala Harris, first of her name, proud pot-smoking Jamaican demagogue who reveled in putting potheads in jail as California's Attorney General, one of the most unremarkable senators in the history of the Senate, border czar and vice president of the worst, most shady, dishonest, Orwellian, insane, downright weird administration this country has ever seen. Look at her go, the wicked witch of the West Wing. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for radical far-left policies that are dumb, unthought out, authoritarian, and will cripple the United States economically, on the world stage, and culturally. Kamala Harris's nightmarish vision for America includes policies that Harris herself does not understand. Well, that's because she has a low IQ. She's not very bright, and despite being a part of the monolithic federal government for many, many years, she has nothing of any substance to show for it, just like Joe Biden. Kamala Harris thinks you should vote for her because she is the first black female presidential nominee. That mentality in and of itself is incredibly racist and sexist, but dare not criticize Kamala Harris and her idiotic stance on things like the economy, foreign policy, abortion, and other important issues because, well, she's the first black female presidential nominee. That should be good enough. We don't need to know about Kamala's policy stances. Like those matter. The DNC, packed with all the excitement and energy you'd expect at a cemetery, featured box seats starting at $500,000, ranging up to $1.5 million. Ironically, many of the millionaires and billionaires filling those boxes are the same people Bernie Sanders wants to tax up to high heaven. Here's Chris Cuomo on a pretty savage rant about the cost of those box seats, and more importantly, the people sitting in them.
By the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes? Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate.
Just another hilarious example of the irony the Democratic Party exudes on a day-to-day basis. They don't care about diversity. They care about and stoke division every chance they get. And they scream and cry when Trump sends out a tweet giving somebody a funny nickname. As Tucker Carlson so eloquently put it, who is the dangerous lunatic?
For the past 7 years, the neocon media establishment's been telling you that Donald Trump is a dangerous lunatic. In 2 years in office, Joe Biden has brought the world to the brink of nuclear holocaust. Who's the dangerous lunatic? And they're lecturing you about global warming.
You be the judge. And make no mistake about it, Kamala may not be senile, but she's a moronic, empty vessel who is even more progressive than Joe Biden and Barack Obama. She will follow the most extreme portions of the Democratic Party. She's already waning on support for Israel because the Democrats have, for some reason, become the pro-Hamas party. I want to clarify that not all Dems have chosen to support these violent Islamic extremists, but there is a sizable portion that does. Why? Because they're pinheaded, brainwashed lemmings who would walk off a cliff if Maxine Waters or AOC told them to. As conservatives, we tend to look at liberals as misguided and wrong on the issues, whereas liberals believe conservatives are misguided, wrong, and evil. This in large part due to the talking heads of CNN and MSNBC, as well as the legacy media, who have done everything in their power to shield Kamala from criticism, all the while casting Trump supporters as brainwashed Nazis. So thank you, legacy media, for continuing to use divisive rhetoric that resulted in an assassination attempt that almost took Donald Trump's life. This is not Game of Thrones. We still have some semblance of democracy, and we must fight with everything we have to preserve our democratic republic. So the DNC, in contrast to the RNC, was filled with people who don't care about actually helping their fellow Americans. Not all, but most of the people who took the stage at that event are disingenuous liars who present a nightmarish future for America, draped in a veil of diversity and inclusion. In other words, that may sound nice, but in execution are bad for the people, bad for the country, and bad for the entirety of humanity. Woke policies result in disaster anywhere they are implemented. The Democrats are the party that supported the defund the police movement, that still supports BLM despite their continued criminal behavior, stoking riots and racial division. They truly are the party of lawlessness, and if you think I'm wrong, just take a look at the stat board. Biden and Harris have effectively wrecked the economy, our border, our standing on the world stage. Crime has skyrocketed, and as one economist put it, they've wiped out the middle class. Like that. A vote for Kamala is a vote for more of the same disappointing, lackluster, limp-wristed administration that panders to the woke mob. That's why the theme of this DNC drivel was Donald Trump equals bad. Since they have no actual good policy to put forth, they are relentlessly attacking the other side. On to one of the funnier things I have ever heard a CNN talking head point out. Watch as Dana Bash tries to explain that Democrats are targeting men with low testosterone. That's why they trotted out people like Doug Emhoff and Tim Walz, a representation of the low T voters to whom they are catering.
Can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players that came out at the RNC, or might want to listen to that, but also, in addition, understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. And that's something that they really are trying to work on with male voters beyond the base.
Abby, we were talking about this earlier, the different definitions of masculinity in 2024,
right.
And what we saw at the Trump convention, which was, as you know, somebody, I forget exactly who said it, testosterone with Kid Rock and the Ultimate Fighting Champion guy.
Yeah, that guy.
And Hulk Hogan.
Dana White and all.
Remember, Hulk Hogan actually ripped off his shirt, and he had another shirt underneath, which I think is not exactly what the rip off the shirt thing is supposed to be. But in any case,
Jake Tapper, if you can't grasp the symbolic gesture Hulk Hogan made by tearing his shirt, that's your problem.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Aside from his excellent wardrobe, everything about Jake Tapper screams beta male, and of course we all know who he will be casting a vote for in November. Despite his firm pro-Israel stance, Tapper will, of course, happily abandon his ethics in the name of worshiping at the progressive altar, even if it means supporting policies that make no sense and would be devastating to the U.S. both at home and abroad. Way to go. Way to speak truth to power, Jake. This week was a great week for the Trump campaign, securing 2 key endorsements from former Democrats, one from Robert Kennedy Jr., who announced he was suspending his campaign due to the systematic censorship of the Democratic Party. Here's RFK with Trump just the other night.
And brought together people from across the political spectrum in a positive campaign grounded in the American values of his father, Robert Kennedy, a great man, and his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. And I know that they are looking down right now, and they are very, very proud of Bobby. I'm proud of Bobby. You want to know the truth?
The best way to build a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this country.
I want to personally congratulate RFK for putting the good of the nation ahead of his own ego and ambition. This is a major blow to the Harris campaign, as many of RFK's supporters will flock to Donald Trump. Another major endorsement came from ex-Democrat and former Congresswoman who served Hawaii's 2nd District from 2019 through 2021, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard realized that her values did not align with the values of today's Democratic Party, and in a bold move, she switched and is currently an independent. Here's Tulsi on why she left the left and now sits on the side of common sense, reason, and sanity.
I left that party because it is led by an elitist cabal of woke warmongers. They are driven by an insatiable greed for power, and they are willing to do whatever they deem is necessary, even the destruction of our freedom, to get what they want and to stay in power.
Tulsi Gabbard adds to the growing number of non-Republicans who are throwing support behind Trump. And that should tell you all you need to know. And before we go, one bit of good news in the entertainment industry, which is rare. Disney has canceled Star Wars The Acolyte after an abysmal first season. For those of you who don't know, the woke Star Wars series had one of the lowest Rotten Tomatoes scores a Star Wars project has ever seen. Some have taken to social media to claim that Disney bent to the will of the toxic Star Wars fans, aka the fans who care about the lore and protecting the IP from being turned into something unrecognizable, which is what it has become.
I own all this shit now! I own the Death Star! I own Tatooine! It's all mine!
Despite the social justice warriors screaming into their soy lattes, though, Disney has axed the show's 2nd season Again, after losing money on the show and getting horrific reviews and audience reception. Seems like a pretty good reason to cancel a show. But as sure as death and taxes, keyboard warriors will always find something to complain about. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. Be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe, leave a comment for a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card. We hit our first subscriber milestone, and the winner's comment is on screen below me. Be sure to leave a comment on any of my videos with a way to DM you or get your email so I can get you that gift card ASAP. The next winner will be announced at the 7,500 subscriber mark, which is rapidly approaching. I can't thank you all enough for your support. It means so much. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and X at ChrisChella_Jr. This is the show that mocks feigned moral outrage because it's fake, it's insincere. We interpret doublespeak and shatter the fake news filter, providing you with the facts, no disinformation, only ChrisInformation. See you in the next one. Bye.